Hello, fellow Bengal fans. I'm Forever Bengals. I want to talk about Jerome Simpson. I kind of mentioned him in a couple videos already, but one thing I want to say is I'm intrigued to see what this guy can do. This was a perfect opportunity to throw him out there in the preseason. He's made some great catches. He's done some good things. Even before the season started, all I kept hearing was Carson Palmer talking about how he's the most intriguing wide receiver he's ever played with. And intriguing is such a funny word because you don't know what he means by intriguing. You don't know if it's a good intriguing or a bad intriguing. But he's worked with Carson all throughout the offseason and preseason. He's done a really, he does a good job with, his assignments and doing what he's supposed to do. And yet, regular season game, we don't use him. We didn't use him at all this season. I think he dressed. I believe he even dressed tonight. But I don't remember seeing him out on the field. And even if he was on the field, they didn't throw the ball to him. So, to say the least, it's going to be interesting to see what happens to him in the playoffs here, with the playoffs coming up. Because I and a few other Bengals fans that I've talked to, we think that Jerome Simpson might actually be the hidden weapon for the Bengals. We think that that the Bengals have intentionally been holding him back because he has been so good and so effective in our offense, and we don't want him out there because we don't want to tip our hand to the defenses. And if you think about it, if we start him against the Jets and he has a big game against the Jets, then that means whoever we have to play the following week will have to try to figure out which one of those teams that they're going to have to they're going to have to figure out what they're going to do with that. So let's say we play the Chargers, and we use them in the Jets. He has a big game. Now the Chargers only have that one game footage to try to figure out how to stop Jerome Simpson, and that's not enough footage to really be able to say anything about any particular player. And then we play, let's say because of him, we wind up beating the Chargers. And then we have to play Indianapolis or even Baltimore. Baltimore, they're not going to know what to do. Indianapolis, we'll probably rely more heavily on the run game with Indianapolis because they can't stop the run. Same with, the Chargers. They can't. Neither one of those teams do good at stopping the run. So I think he's going to be one of those type of guys, especially a play-action pass. We may have Chad Ochocinco out there and Jerome Simpson fake the run, and then we got both guys streaking downfield. Carson can take his pick of which one he thinks is open. If Chad is probably going to draw the double coverage, and he'll throw it to Jerome. And Jerome, with his talent and athleticism, he'll come in with big games. So I think that is why he's being held. And here's why I think he's being held back for this is because if he's really not as good, if he's not that good, and he's not picking up the playbook, I really can't see them keeping him on the roster. They would have just cut him immediately. Aside from just cutting him hands down immediately, they would have also put him on the practice squad. So they wouldn't have had him on the 53-man roster. They would have put him on the practice squad, or they would have just cut him outright if he was a scrub, if he was no good. And when Chris Henry went down, before the season, Palmer had said that Jerome Simpson was the most intriguing wide receiver he's played with, or he's working with, and when Henry went down, it was between Maurice Purify and Jerome Simpson. Well, they brought in Purify. He didn't really light anything up, so and a lot of people think Simpson just must be a bust because why would you go to Purify? And when they talked about, when they asked him, all Palmer could talk about was Purify. He didn't even mention Jerome Simpson. I think Jerome Simpson is going to come out and he's going to play a big game in the playoffs, and he's going to catch everybody off guard. And by the time anybody has enough tape to do anything about it, it'll be too late. We'll be in the Super Bowl, and who knows, even win the Super Bowl because of it. So that's my take on it, and I'm not the only one that thinks this. So don't think that that this is just my idea. I've been talking about this to a couple Bengals fans, especially on Bengals.com, going to their message boards, which right now is blown up because everyone's saying, "Woe is me! The Cincinnati Bengals suck." Well, that's their opinion. I don't even get into it. I think that there's a possibility we've been holding back intentionally, and that when the time comes is when we'll see the explosiveness that we've been coming to expect week in and week out, and we haven't gotten thus far. I think we still need to stick to the running game because the running game works. There's no reason to deviate from something that's working. So, but yeah, Jerome Simpson, he's not on the practice squad. He's not been cut, and he's been a non-factor, and no one seems to be talking about him. I don't see them asking the head coach. Every time they ask the head coach about Jerome, Jerome says that he's coming along. Lewis says that he's coming along, but they're not going to play him. So, again, interesting to see exactly what's going to happen in this particular matchup with the Bengals and the Jets come Saturday, especially with Jerome Simpson. I think I think he's going to wind up lighting some people up. That's all. So I'm going to leave it at that. Feel free to agree or disagree, but the Bengals were in the playoffs. I believe he's going to be our secret weapon. Forever Bengals, hoo day.